From the miniaturized capsule inside Martin Short, it's the IGN Digigods. So please welcome the amazing two-headed transplant, Wade Major and Mark Kaiser.
Outstanding. An inner space reference. That's going deep. Corey, who went deep with inner space?
That was written by Stuart Moncure, who I think was picturing Rosie Greer as Wade Major, or vice versa.
Oh, no. That was the other reference.
So you have a choice of
What?
ice cream.
I have a choice of ice cream.
Yes, because I have two. Either salted caramel.
Okay, you're not... Get into the microphone there.
Either salted caramel.
Yes, okay.
Or white chocolate with a chocolate ripple swirl in it.
Oh,
Either
salted caramel.
Ice
Salted
cream
caramel.
Or, really? You don't want
Yeah.
the white chocolate ice cream? Have you ever had white chocolate
Why
ice
would
cream?
you give me the choice if you're going to try and talk me into the other one?
I guess that's true. Okay, goodbye.
Okay. Anyway, what an interesting week. We have a Vox Box. We got some listener mail. And we also have this very interesting discussion that erupted on the Facebook page. For those who are not on the Facebook page, you should be. And the sad reality is 20th Century Fox has announced that The Simpsons will no longer be released on DVD. Apparently after, they skipped a few seasons on the last release and have effectively decided that the earlier DVD releases will not be transitioned to Blu-ray. And it just isn't selling like it needs to. There's a little bit of a glut in The Simpsons interest, and you will only be able to watch the episodes on the Simpsons World website, which I don't even know if that has a complete set of them now, but that's really unfortunate. However,
it's a little soft because it was sitting out.
yeah, that's fine.
This is salted caramel ice cream.
Okay, thank you.
You're going to try it. You're going to get a scale of 1 to 10. Folks, Wade Major, Wade is taking a taste of it. He's putting the spoon to his mouth for the second time. What does he think?
It's good. It's good. You did well.
Thank you very much.
You did well, Grasshopper. That's good.
Keep talking.
Yeah. No, so the question, if Mark wants to chime in from the other room, is will they, as is suggested, are they basically just going to wait until The Simpsons has run its course and then release all 72 seasons on Blu-ray and DVD, or just Blu-ray as a mega monster set, thereby infuriating the 3 generations of people who grew up with the show but died before it ended its run? Mark didn't even hear that. He has no clue. Okay, well, I'm going to do the show stag this week because Mark is just not pulling his weight. Mark, I'm going to start by going through some documentaries, okay? Actually, you know what I'm going to do as long as you're not here?
I wanted the white chocolate ice cream with the chocolate swirl.
Oh, of course you did. All right, well, I'm going to get started. I'm going to talk about some classical stuff really quickly. Got a lot of great stuff coming out of Naxos this week.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the question you were asking everybody?
The Simpsons. Will The Simpsons ever end its run? Get the mic right up there. You eat that mic.
Why are you 10 inches away from the mic, but I have to eat the mic?
Well, because tilt it so that it actually faces your mouth. That's the way this works. That's why they're called microphones.
We're very professional production this week.
It's just
so the Simpsons.
yeah, not going to be on DVD.
Discontinued their DVD.
That's
production.
exactly what I was just saying. Thank you for repeating what I was saying.
It's a shame. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing, though. When you've been on for 25 years,
It's a glut. It's a glut. There's too much.
There's really no.
That's why the show.
Simpsons season 27.
This is why it's dumb. We always point this out. This is why it's dumb to release Bonanza series, season 10, part 1 or whatever. Bonanza and Gunsmoke, they really need to just release both of those series in their entirety. They do. It's dumb. People who grew up with Gunsmoke totally resent now. They waited 20 years to see the end of the show. They got to wait another 20 years before the whole thing comes out on DVD. Just release the whole series. There's no reason to be playing that game season by season. Paramount and CBS, they need to just stop it. Get that whole thing out there.
That said, I will always want those shows on Blu-ray or DVD, but preferably Blu-ray, obviously. Simpsons. But I mean, like any show. But I know The Simpsons is... Because I want the video quality. I want the commentaries. I want the behind the scenes. I want the extras. I want it archivally, to coin a word, I want it archivally stored on my shelf forever.
I agree.
So it is a shame. All the way. Look, put it this way: if The Simpsons was canceled after 12 seasons, there'd be 12 season sets, and people would be happy.
Yeah.
But if you're getting into, first of all, Fox makes a whole lot of money syndicating that show. That show's on, FXX all the time, right?
That is good ice cream.
Thank you very much.
That is sweet.
So what I'm saying is that there are other revenue streams for The Simpsons, a lot more lucrative at this point than DVDs. So I understand why they'd want to get rid of it.
I get
It's
you.
just a shame from an historical perspective.
Yep.
That's a shame.
I agree.
See, I answered your question.
I agree. Thank you.
I give a moderately intelligent
All right.
response.
I'm going to blow through some classical right here from Naxos real quickly, just to start the show, get us warmed up. We have a Vox box, by the way, and we've got some listener names. Not yet. No, stop. So all of these are labels that are distributed by Naxos. First two are from Unitel Classica, distributed by Naxos. Actually, no, I take that back. They are. It is Accentus Music and Unitel. There are a lot of different labels involved in these things, and it sometimes gets a little confusing. Anyway, the first one is Barenboim directing Bruckner's Ninth Symphony with the Staatskapelle Berlin. If you're a fan of Bruckner, Bruckner's kind of like if Beethoven had been meaner and angrier and louder. That's what he would have been, Bruckner. And then we have one from the Lucerne Festival Orchestra. This is the Memorial Concert for Claudio Abbado. And this is a collection of different stuff. There's an excerpt from Beethoven's Third Symphony. There's Franz Schubert's Seventh Symphony, some other composers that you've never heard of, and then the Third Symphony, just the Adagio portion, Gustav Mahler. That's a lovely concert. And then we have these three from Unitel Classica, exclusively Unitel Classica. And this one is Symphonies Number 1 and 2 by Gustav Mahler, conducted by Paavo Järvi, who is just a fantastic conductor. I've loved everything Järvi's ever done. Love his complete Grieg set. And then a companion to that is Symphonies Number 3 and 4 by Mahler. So you can get them separate or together. These are all Blu-rays. And then this is just fantastic. The Royal Concertgebouw Orchestra, conducted by Andres Nelsons, doing Richard Strauss. Not just Also Sprach Zarathustra, but also Macbeth. Believe it or not, Macbeth is rarely. This is his Opus 30. Is Also Sprach Zarathustra, and then Opus 23 is Macbeth, and then there's also a piece here, Opus 28, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce because it's a German thing. So go look it up, Opus 28 of Richard Strauss. It's a long German title, and I will mutilate it if I try to pronounce it. That's why I was always the black sheep in the family. I could never master the mother tongue. You know that? But anyway, did you know that Also Sprach Zarathustra is longer than just the theme to 2001?
It's not just 30 seconds?
Who knew? Wow. Your microphone is here. Let's.
Why is that my fault?
There we go.
It was the cord.
It was the cord. It's my bad. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
We're a professional operation.
I don't know what we are, but it's not professional.
Anyway. So, also from Art House Music, we got this show going so quickly today. I plugged everything in so quickly and just got blasting. And Tim was here. We were talking to Tim.
We were talking to Tim Cogshell.
Tim was here.
He was.
Tim says hi to everybody. Orpheus. Art House Music. Orpheus. Choreography for 9 dancers and 7 musicians. Not my favorite thing. This is kind of an interesting thing that they did with the National Theater of Chaillot in 2010. Kind of taking the whole Orpheus thing is sort of more from in the vein of Black Orpheus the movie, and creating kind of a modern dance thing using all kinds of classical music, including everything from Tchaikovsky to Philip Glass. And I don't know that it works really well. I'm more traditional when it comes to dance exhibitions, but anyway. And then Zubin Mehta doing with the Vienna Philharmonic and conducting Jose Carreras and Andrea Rost in an open-air concert from 1999, the Johann Strauss Gala, Really wonderful stuff. Just absolutely fantastic. And 1999, you're not really deep into the digital recording era at the time, so there's almost more natural sound to this that I think comes across really, really beautifully. And then, finally, we got a bunch of opera and junk and stuff from Opus Arte. Mozart's The Magic Flute. Here.
Oh, I have a magic flute, Wade.
I'm sure
in my
do.
pants.
Oh. It's all over. It's so all over. Anyway, this is a beautiful performance from the Dutch National Opera, with the Netherlands Chamber Orchestra and the chorus of the Dutch National Opera. Who knew that the Dutch could do something so cool other than play soccer? And then we also have Verdi's Don Carlo with the orchestra and chorus Teatro Regio Torino, which is also lovely. I wonder if Mark Sanderson, our friend Mark Sanderson, who has spent doesn't it feel like he's been in Italy for the last month and a half?
I don't know what the deal is. It seems like, didn't we talk about this on a previous show?
We may have.
He goes there, he posts a bunch of stuff on beautiful Facebook. He
was in Sardinia for like a week and a half, and now he's in Rome again, and he just keeps posting
for a
pictures.
Woman. It's for this woman he met.
Well,
Because we talked about this.
Damn worth it.
We talked about how last time we saw him was at the Planet of the Apes premiere with Matt Reeves, the director, and he sat with all of us, and Mark told us about how he met this beautiful woman, and it's a very, very long-distance relationship, but it seems like it's making it work.
He's in Italy, man, and he's having a grand time, and I'm loving the photos. They're fantastic. So anyway, speaking of, now we move to the Royal Ballet at the Royal Opera House. The Winter's Tale, which is beautiful, absolutely beautiful, wonderful, wonderful staging and performance. This is if you've never seen this, you got to check it out. This is really absolutely fantastic. Wonderful cast, great choreography, just a beautiful, beautiful ballet. This is the world premiere recording of it. And then lastly, La Belle et La Bete et la Belle, which is the Beast and the Beauty. You see, they reverse the Beauty and the Beast.
Whoa!
It's the same
that's crazy.
Yeah, same story. Anyway, this is choreography and staging with the Ballet du Capitole by Kader Belarbi, and same story. It's a little impressionistic, but perfectly serviceable if you love the story. And that segues me to another piece of news this week. Mark?
Yes, sir.
Have you been keeping up with the casting for the Beauty and the Beast live-action film from Disney?
Yeah, they just cast
Ian McKellen as Cogsworth. It's like every time they announce a new piece of casting, I just think, dang it, I'm going to have to like this thing because that just sounds perfect. That sounds wonderful. It just does. It's like suddenly, Magneto / the wizard /
some Hamlet thing he did.
Yeah, Henry the Third,
whatever it is.
Richard the Third, and he's just doing all these legendary things. Now he's Cogsworth.
Wow.
I
don't know who's directing that.
I forget. Look it up. Get on that.
You know what? I'm a little worried about Disney. Disney's pissing me off.
Well, look, that makes sense. And Cinderella's doing well, and I was skeptical of that, and that makes sense. And obviously this is all predicated on how successful the Angelina Jolie thing was. That turned out well for them. So now they're going live action on everything. But I got to tell you, the announcement that they're going to do a live action version of Milan is not encouraging.
Bill Condon.
That's right.
Beauty and the Beast, that's encouraging.
Condon's
I like
good.
him. Dream, Kinsey, I love Kinsey. Gods and Monsters.
He has not been perfect. He's laid a few eggs in his career. So we'll see. He's drifting a little bit. A little tiny bit. Yes.
There was a trajectory there. Gods and Monsters, cool. Kinsey was amazing. Then he hits the big time with Dreamgirls, and then he did Twilight. Screw that. And Fifth Estate with Benedict Cumberbatch was okay.
Yeah. Well, now, as long as we're segueing, Mark.
Are we segueing?
We're segueing because you just mentioned Benedict Cumberbatch. And we have my second favorite film of the year on Blu-ray, 8 Academy Award nominations, The Imitation Game.
Yeah.
Winner of Best Original Screenplay.
Did it really?
It did.
I forgot already.
Oh, listen to you.
Okay.
Graham Moore. I mean, look, I think Morton Tildum put himself in the A-list category as director of this thing. It is beautifully directed. This whole thing is executed so professionally. Cumberbatch is fantastic. As anybody knows, this is effectively the story of the breaking of the Enigma code in during World War II, and it tells the story of Alan Turing, who is the British genius, sort of the father of the modern computer, who was this introvert, also a closeted gay man at the time, who oversaw the effort to break the Enigma code with this amazing team of people. Here's what's genius about this movie. First of all, Graham Moore, who wrote it, it's a lifelong. I mean, if you heard his speech at the Oscars, this was a passion project for him. He related to touring as a kid, and he just said, "I want to tell that story," and he does it beautifully. It's the dialogue is magnificent. Everything about this film.
You know
is
what's
just
funny
superb.
though? You know what's funny though? Hold that thought.
Yeah.
For a guy who was motivated to write the story of touring based on his own experience, right, as a gay man.
But the thing is, Graham Moore's not gay. He gave that speech and said, "I related." Then everybody's like, "Oh, you poor." And he's like, "No, I'm not gay. I was alienated as a kid. And I related to that." That was, he had to clarify that, which I thought was interesting too. But anyway,
but that's where, because like there's the gay, whatever gay the movie doesn't have a lot of gay subtext. Really, the gay
and it was
material is
and
not till the end.
It was criticized by some people for that, because it was not like this activist film about gay rights and discrimination.
It shouldn't have to be that. It shouldn't have to be that.
Well, that's the thing. I agree, because it didn't. The message of the film, it wasn't going to sort of take this banner of gay rights and sort of contrast it then and now. It wasn't going to do that. The point was, this is a guy who doesn't really belong anywhere, and he just happened to be gay. But Moore wanted that to sort of be an iconic representation for anyone to relate to who feels like they don't belong. Like, you shouldn't have to be gay to relate to Alan Turing. If you just feel like you don't belong, but you have something to contribute, whatever your circumstances, whatever your condition, that he wanted people to be able to relate to him.
Yes, but at the end of the film, when they have the title card, that says X numbers of, I mean, it's a horrible tragedy, but X numbers of thousands of gays were If he's ending the movie with that, the big statement of the movie, and yet he only really introduces the gay in the last 15 minutes.
I would probably suggest that title card was not part of the original script. That's my guess is that was probably an addendum, and it was probably marketing driven. But just the same, it's a brilliant film. This is a great film. It is a spy film. It is a World War II spy thriller.
That's good.
In which nobody ever actually even leaves the UK. They barely even leave the compound in London where they're doing all this work, and that's incredible. Nobody's skydiving into occupied France or anything of that sort. It is just a fantastic film. Benedict Cumberbatch, Keira Knightley, just sensational. Wonderful supporting cast of great British actors that you have seen all over the place on British television. A fantastic commentary with Graham Moore and Morton Tildum. First rate all the way through. You can listen to every second of that commentary and never, ever be bored. They are just wonderful. And making a featurette and some deleted scenes, and that's it. So I suspect maybe we'll get another version of this at some point, a special edition, but I don't think so.
No, I mean, maybe if it had won Best Picture, maybe if he had won Best Actor, maybe.
Yeah.
Here are a couple of people who are not going to be winning any Best Actor or Actress awards soon. Jenny Slate, Olivia Wilde, Billy Crudup, and Jason Bateman.
Oh, my gosh.
They star in The Longest Week. And The Longest Week is it's a very derivative little comedy where, Jason Bateman plays this guy who's cut off by – he's a wealthy guy, but he's cut off from his allowance by his parents, so he has to move in with his friend, played by Billy Crudup. And then it turns out that you get Billy Crudup is dating Olivia Wilde, and then Olivia Wilde and Jason Bateman wind up falling for each other. So it's one of those threesome sort of films, those like romantic comedy, wacky roommate things, where you get the two guys both going after the hot girl. Again, it's pretty derivative, not very insightful. I can't imagine this particular material being a funnier movie just because it's so standard issue. There's just nothing cute about it. I just think it's just nothing. I'm really surprised that it would get this kind of a cast, but I just think it's just completely a misfire.
This is a really interesting piece this week. Gravity is out again in a Diamond Luxe edition, which is this new series that Warner has been releasing a lot of films on. We've had, Forrest Gump and Green Mile and a few other things in the Diamond Luxe editions. And this is obviously their cinephile line now. But here's what's interesting. There's no 3D version on this.
Yay!
So I'm wondering, even though Gravity won, I mean, Gravity was considered one of these landmark 3D films, right? I mean, this is one of the things that was supposed to legitimize 3D. But 3D televisions have the sales are just not what everyone thought they would be. So that boondoggle has collapsed.
Correct.
And so we're fast getting fewer and fewer 3D Blu-rays. That was kind of a rage for a moment and a half, and now that's sort of dropping off. They don't want to spend the extra money. So here's the question. If we now release a cinephile Blu-ray in the Diamond Luxe line from Warner Brothers of a movie that was supposed to be a landmark 3D movie, but this cinephile version does not have 3D on it, does that herald the writing on the wall that everybody may be just backing off of 3D?
Well, first of all, everybody's backing off from 3D anyway.
Yeah.
They're really backing off from 3D in home theaters.
Yes.
So if I went to the store and I saw this and it says Blu-ray and 3D, I'd be like, is this an old release?
Yeah.
Because I forgot 3D even existed on a TV.
I think that's fascinating that it does not have the 3D on it. But what it does have is the new Silent Space version, which is without music. So it's like 2001, right? It's like all that stuff when Hal has where you're drifting in space and there's just no sound and it's really eerie. It's kind of cool, actually, the whole Silent Space version.
When I saw this movie, it's
a great score.
It blew me. Oh, the score is amazing. Thank God that guy won the Oscar. I was so happy. Stephen Price.
But I recommend that people get this just for the Silent Space version because it's a different film. It's fascinating. I don't know if it's a better film. I don't think it's a worse film, but it's different. It's a completely different sensation. It's really interesting. So I think I applaud them for that. I think this is one of the few times where there's been this like extra version of a film that doesn't feel like it was just some cockeyed thing that somebody came up with. I actually think it works pretty cool.
Give me this. You're giving me this. You're not giving me this, are you?
No, I'm not.
I just love this movie. When I saw this movie, it blew me the F away. I could not. I melted my seat. I was just so blown away.
You melted your seat.
I melted in my seat.
Okay, you melted it. Because don't say you melted your seat, because then I start imagining things that I don't really want to imagine. I'm start thinking, why would the seat melt? What could possibly cause the seat to melt? What's connecting? Anyway, never mind. Mark, did you see The Drop?
I did see The Drop.
Did you like The Drop?
You know, I like The Drop just on the strength of Tom Hardy, who I always love, and James Gandolfini. Otherwise,
because Tom Hardy kind of talked with this like it's sort of Bronxy thing that he had going there.
Who are you, Ratso Rizzo now?
I don't know. It's what it sounded like. He changed the register of his voice, and he's really a chameleon. He just blows my mind.
He's great. I just don't really. I was watching the movie going, I'm liking this, but what's the point?
Yeah, and then it gets to the point, and you go, oh, that's all right. That's kind of cool.
I guess
it's it's a crime thing about a bar that is a drop bar, which is where these they're Russian mobsters, right?
Correct.
Yeah, these Russian mobsters, they collect all their protection money and their gambling money, and then they to launder it, they drop these bars in New York are drop bars. It's where the money gets dropped at the end of the day, and they launder. And there's the plot has a few other little twists and turns to it, and. You do wonder what's going on here. Who's this guy that they keep talking about? Who that everybody's afraid of? And then there's a woman, and he befriends this woman, played by Noomi Rapace, however we want to pronounce her name.
Steve.
And she's got the crazy boyfriend who's played by our very beloved Belgian actor.
From
Bullhead.
Bullhead, sure.
Yeah,
that guy's great.
Whose name I will just completely destroy.
Look, here's the thing. I have to say the movie does have sort of a pungent sense of place, which I like. I just think that there's nothing really new here that makes you want to bust into the genre again, unless you love Tom Hardy, which I do.
Yeah.
And unless you want to see James Gandolfini's final performance, which of course you should.
True.
I just think this has very legitimate Saturday night rental written all over it.
Yeah, sure. I'll go with that. I just think the performances are really, really good. The script should probably be a little better, especially considering that it's written by Dennis Lehane. It doesn't.
Sure.
You normally expect.
Well, Gone Baby Gone.
Yeah, Mystic River.
Mystic River.
But look, great performances, and that I think holds it up.
Yeah, it puts it slightly. It's like 51-49. Check it out.
Yeah.
Now wait, here's the thing.
Yes.
Now, I know Wild got a lot of good notices. Wild earned Reese Witherspoon another Best Actress nomination.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Neither do I. I called it Easy Hiker. And that's exactly what I think it is.
And I have to tell you, I'm really... Look, the one thing I will give Reese Witherspoon is this. She's on the screen, every scene, she holds it together. She's a star.
Yeah.
She carries the movie, on her back, just like the backpack she
I am
wears.
growing tired of movies about people who take these existential journeys to find themselves and to fix everything in their lives, like the Julia Roberts thing, and there's a half a dozen of these now.
Like Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah, they're all based on these books about usually women who just said I was addicted to heroin, my husband left me, whatever horrible things happened to me, I just decided I'm gonna go take a hike from blah 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 to blah blah blah. I'm gonna go visit these countries, and they go on these journeys, and it really doesn't amount to anything terribly dramatic, and they try hard, and she does a good job, but it still feels it's Easy Hiker. You give her Peter Fonda and a couple of motorcycles, and we've seen it before.
You're right. I just feel like it's not that memorable.
No,
it doesn't really stick with you.
No,
she hikes around to get over her past, and some, as you say, metaphorical spiritual journey.
You got some flashbacks, and yeah.
I just was not a big fan of it. Although the director. I am actually a fan of.
I'm a huge fan
of Jean-Marc Vallée. Vallée is a valet French as a French man.
Vallée. He's French Canadian, and he did Young Victoria, which I adore. He did. He won.
Oops, I bumped your mic.
Thank you. He helped Matt McConaughey win his Best Actor award for Dallas Buyers Club, and made that money for next to nothing, and made it look great. And he's a really good director, and I don't fault him. I just fault the material. So
I agree. And you know what? Look, just because an actress decides not to wear makeup, that's not an excuse to give her an Oscar nomination. But which, by the way, again, Reese Witherspoon holds the screen, holds the movie together, carries it on her back. I get all that, but still, I never found a lot of subtext with her, with Reese Witherspoon.
No, not
She's
a lot.
kind of all on the surface.
But I am really looking forward to the new film.
Huh?
I'm looking forward to this, the new, basically the what's it called, the thing that she's doing with Sofia Vergara.
Is that a comedy or something?
Yeah. It's like Midnight Run with women. Looks great. Anyway, Big Eyes. Man, I am so sick of Tim Burton. Could we just...
It's over.
Oh, my gosh, this was such
It's like Spike Lee. We were talking about Spike Lee before the show. Spike Lee, Tim Burton, it's over.
Well, first of all, here's the problem. Everybody thought, okay, it is a great story. Walter Keane and his wife Margaret... This bizarre true story where he was this famous painter, and then it turned out that she actually did all the paintings, and he just took the credit for it. And the whole thing came to a head in this big show trial where she essentially proved that she was the painter, because when they did a paint off, and he said, "Oh, my wrist hurts. I can't paint today." I mean, it was a big fiasco, and the whole thing sounds so absurd and so bigger than life. You think, holy cow, turn that over to Tim Burton and have a script by Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski, the guys who, the same team that gave us Ed Wood. Oh my gosh, it's made, it's money. And then you cast Christoph Waltz as a guy from Nebraska? What are you thinking? The whole thing... It's got that Scott Alexander, Larry Karaszewski feel to it. Man in the Moon, all the eccentric biopics that they always take, that they made their specialty. But it's too eccentric, and it's too broad. And Christoph Waltz is so hot through the whole thing. And when I say hot, I don't mean he's good looking. I mean he's pitched. His performance is so pitched, and he's so over the top, and he's so hysterical. And this movie drove me crazy.
Well, that's Tim Burton's fault. As the director, Tim Burton has to say to Christoph Waltz, "Stop that."
I just don't think Tim Burton has a subtle bone in his body.
He doesn't.
And I think he's always afraid that his movies will not be fun enough or funny enough. And he tries to give them that extra little weird tweak that he thinks people expect from him. And that's death when you're a director. When you start worrying about what people expect from you as opposed to what you expect from yourself, it's death. And I see that all the time.
And I'm also tired of Tim Burton because like all of his other movies, he was attracted to its value as a piece of production design.
Sure, the paintings, the paintings are famous. I mean, Big Eyes, the title. We've all seen these. They're the famous Keane paintings from the 60s, 70s, where with the little children with the huge eyes, those huge empty dark eyes. But man, I got to tell you, Christoph Waltz just not right. Amy Adams as Margaret, fine, perfectly fine. She does a good job, but she's acting in a different movie from Christoph Waltz, and it's too bad. This could have been, in different hands. This might have been a better movie. But wow, what a misfire. Anyway, this is on Blu-ray with Ultraviolet, and it only has the making of featurette and then this Q&A highlights, which they have started throwing onto a lot of these Blu-rays as well, just to fill up extra space. They obviously didn't put anything into this because it didn't perform.
Wade, you talked about misfire. Oh, no. There is no misfire quite like Kidnapping Mr. Heineken.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, this is based on an interesting true story, which unfortunately did not result in an interesting movie. In 1983, these guys, here's what happened, Wade. They were Dutch. See what I'm talking about? It's the Netherlands. In 1983, these childhood friends, they kidnapped the heir to the Heineken beer fortune.
I watched 15 minutes of this movie.
And it's just terrible.
I could not believe it.
This is bottom of the barrel time. I
couldn't believe it. It's such a great idea, and I looked at the cast and I thought,
well, no. Somehow they got Anthony Hopkins, okay?
Yeah.
And everybody else signed.
That's what you think.
And everybody else signed on because they get a scene with Anthony Hopkins.
But look, Jim Sturgis, Ryan Quanten, these are up and coming guys. Right? I mean, they have a middling profile. They're good actors. They're sort of looking for that breakout thing. They're hoping Marvel will call them and give them a superhero to play. They're in that mix. And Sam Worthington, he's there, right?
He's a big empty suit.
He shows up in movies.
Charisma free Sam Worthington.
Completely charisma free, but he shows up in big movies and he occasionally does a decent job. I mean, it just felt like, all right, I'm down with it. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how completely just stillborn this was. It's so appalling.
I just don't understand.
No, do I.
It's Hopkins plays it really almost comatose.
Yeah.
The director, he directed the last two Dragon Tattoo movies.
Yeah.
Back in native Netherlands.
Yeah.
Here he's got no particular feel for gunplay, kidnapping, chases, that kind of stuff. Creating tense moments. It's a complete and utter
Daniel
misfire.
Daniel Alfredson, who is the brother of
Thomas
Alfredson.
That's right. Who directed Let the Right One In?
Yeah. Who a couple of talented guys, and it's not. I don't know. I don't know what doesn't work here. Anyway. It's too bad. Too bad. All right. Enter the Dangerous Mind. Don't listen to the voices.
But I want to listen to the voices.
I know. So anyway, Scott Bakula is showing up in a lot of middling stuff, and this is from Well Go, and this is something that probably could have gotten a minor theatrical release at some point. This is one of those strange thrillers that tries to sort of exploit technology to generate suspense and hysteria and paranoia in ways that used to be associated with things like the occult. And there are a few of these. They're all sort of the unholy spawn of Videodrome. I think Cronenberg kind of inadvertently created this subgenre, and it pops back every once in a while. Anyway, the idea here is Jake Hoffman plays this guy who just is holed up. And he just listens to his own music and his own soundtrack, and it's to make the rest of the world just vanish. He wants to isolate everything. And his brother basically kind of tries to drag him out of his obsession, and things go horribly, horribly wrong. And the question is, is this? I guess these kinds of movies tend to sort of want to ask us: are you, is your obsession with fill in the blank pushing you to possibly become one of these, human time bombs or whatever? I don't know. It just feels like a lot of mood and a lot of laborious plotting and excessive sort of character indulgence to very little yield. But I give them credit for trying. It's a Blu-ray. It's on a Blu-ray. Well, go.
Oh, wait, on DVD we have a little suspense thing called Roadside.
Yeah.
And this is a very simple, which is to say no-budget premise, which is it's a couple on a mountain road, mountain highway, and they see a dead tree. They got to pull their car over, and oh, my God, they're now trapped by a mysterious gunman.
Isn't that lovely?
In a world.
It never stops.
So the whole movie has 8 people in it. And pretty much the whole thing is done kind of on this mountain road. So if there's not a lot going on, location-wise, then it's either got to have a great script, which it doesn't really, or it has to really ratchet up the tension, right? It's got to be directed and edited, scored with tension in mind. I have to say that Roadside, it has a couple moments. There are a couple moments kind of gripping, a little kind of moody, a little bit intense. But, look, the thing's 82 minutes, so how good is it going to be? So if you like these kind of movies, I guess you could do a lot worse than Roadside. Eric England is the guy who he directed it, and he also wrote it. I think he's probably a better director than he is a writer. A lot of some lame dialogue here. And I was kind of hoping for more twists and turns in the plot, but still, there's some stuff going on here.
And our last new release this week is a thing called Doe Vigilante, which is a low budget but totally serviceable and actually pretty interesting story about a guy who is. This is probably the most interesting vigilante, low budget indie film I've seen since Death Wish, and that's saying a lot. The idea is this guy, he's just decided he's going to, be a one-man justice machine, but then people start copying him. And so then, you get into all of these very interesting ethical areas. And like, any exploitation film from yesteryear, it never really becomes a message movie. It never really becomes a conscience movie. It never lets the ideas get in the way of the action. Which is both kind of reassuring and a little bit disappointing, but it ultimately kind of works. And there are some very interesting extras on here, which really kind of make it more than the usual film of this level. You get a director and screenwriter commentary. You get several behind-the-scenes featurettes and a couple of behind-the-scenes things on how they made certain scenes in the movie, how they executed some of the more interesting parts of the film, and it's not bad. So I'm going to give a kind of guarded thumbs up to Doe Vigilante.
Wait, Steve McQueen, not the director, but the iconic actor who had died at 50. You realize that Steve McQueen was 50 years old when he died?
I know, but he'd lived a long. There's a lot of life in those 50 years.
There was. Steve McQueen was one of the icons of his era, and this new documentary from the good folks at Shout Factory is okay. It's called "I Am Steve McQueen." A lot of good interviews. Pierce Brosnan, Gary Oldman. They also interview now Steve McQueen. The Bullet and Great Escape, whatnot. He was known for two things: cars and women.
Yep,
that was his thing.
Yep,
and Steve McQueen, that guy lived fast and large, and he didn't care. There's this. They interview his first wife in the film, and this is during the '60s, and she's asked about how the guy was just a complete peahound.
Yeah,
that's what he was.
Yeah,
and the quote was, he says, why do I have to work for love at home when I can get it for free outside?
Right?
And somehow, because Steve McQueen is so... I put it this way. When Steve McQueen died, my father cried.
Wow, really?
Because he was such an icon of cool. Such an icon.
Wow.
Steve McQueen is the man. So it's a little surface for me. I mean, I like the interviews. They talk a lot about how great he was. Now he loved cars and he loved machinery. He loved girls and that kind of stuff. I feel like somewhere out there, someone's going to make a better documentary about Steve McQueen. This is not really it. But if you don't know who he is, or you've heard of him through these other movies, like Great Escape and Bullet and whatnot, if you want to know who this guy was, you will love this guy. This guy was a badass. And although it's not the ultimate documentary, the final word, it'll give you it's a good primer on who he was.
Hoop Dreams is finally on Blu-ray as well.
Hoop Dreams!
Criterion has given us a Blu-ray of Hoop Dreams that is filmmaker approved. It's got that little seal on it. Took 3 filmmakers to make this. Steve James, who's made a lot of documentaries since, along with Frederick Marks and Peter Gilbert, a great trio who worked incredibly well making this film. And Hoop Dreams is not exactly the kind of film that lends itself to Blu-ray. It's not a masterpiece of cinematography. You're not going to watch it on DVD and then go, boy, I wish this was on Blu-ray. It just doesn't look good enough. Because they basically followed these kids around, and everybody should know this story. These are a couple of kids who want to become pro basketball players, and it's just about the pain and the anxiety and the struggle of their journeys. And they stuck with them for years. So, I mean, this is them following these guys around and getting whatever footage they could of them with their families and their schools and their playing and their doubts and their dreams and all of that stuff. And this film's been imitated so much. You have to say, this is one of the landmark documentaries of all time.
Put it this way. This movie, Roger Ebert loved this movie so much that he asked Steve James, the director, to direct the documentary about Roger Ebert as he was dying of cancer.
And let's remember, Hoop Dreams is such an amazing landmark documentary that it received the highest of all accolades that any documentary can possibly receive. It did not win the Academy Award because all the great docs don't win.
That's right.
It's unbelievable. We're not going to get into what actually won that year, but it's just stunning. It's just breathtaking that Hoop Dreams did not win the Academy Award. Perhaps because it's 3 hours long, but I don't care. It doesn't need it. It's great. 2 audio commentaries, one with the filmmakers, one with the film subjects. And you also get a new documentary that brings you up to date. It's called Life After Hoop Dreams, and you sort of find out, it's been 20 years, Mark. It's been 20 years.
Yeah, where are those kids, by the way?
That's the thing. That's what you find out in Life After Hoop Dreams. And it's really interesting. It's wonderful. It almost turns this into a Michael Apted film. It almost feels like, 20 up or 40 up or whatever you want to call it. And then you get a bunch of excerpts from Siskel and Ebert about the film. And as well as the original 1994 music video for the theme song. It's just fantastic.
I can sing that song.
Yeah, no, you're not.
Dream,
Stop it.
You're
Stop
dribbling
it. Go away.
the
No.
ball.
Oh, no.
And you're
no.
in high school.
No, don't do that. Don't do
dreams.
that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. And then World War I, The People's Story, is a release from Athena, which is the Acorn educational line, which is, this is just absolutely wonderful. This is essentially it humanizes the story of World War I by giving you, by reading from excerpts from original diaries and letters and personal accounts of the people who were, immersed in World War I to various degrees and in various places. And it uses historical footage and readings by a lot of really, really great actors to sort of give you that, sort of the way that the Civil War, that Ken Burns did with the Civil War, a lot of that stuff, these dramatic readings combined with archival footage, it's really good. It's really good. So on the 100th anniversary, as we continue to celebrate 100 years since World War I, this continues to give you this very, very personal impression of it, and it is beautiful, and includes the usual educational 12-page viewer's guide, along with a whole bunch of other educational material. So really great stuff.
Wade, what should we do? Should we get into some Blu-ray news? Should we get into
I think
some mail? More...
I think let me read some mail.
Oh,
let me read some mail. All righty, we have from from Billy Milby. Billy Milby writes, you guys, do you think a new edition of 2001 would include the recently unearthed footage from a couple of years ago, about 15 minutes or so? Mark, what do you think? No,
absolutely not. Not in a million years.
No?
No, because Kubrick wouldn't have. If Kubrick wanted that, he would have put it in the movie.
Yeah.
Now, maybe you could make it as an extra.
Well, that's a question.
You wouldn't cut it into. You wouldn't edit it into the film.
No, but will they include? Will there be a new special edition with that as an extra? Do you think?
You would have to come out with a special edition just for the purpose of that. Because otherwise, it's been out on Blu-ray a couple times already.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that maybe there'll be like a special showing of it, and they'll show the extras as part of the special roadshow showing of it. But I don't know, man. You're asking. You'd be asking people to like triple dip. What do you think? Would you?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It feels like Kubrick would be mad at me.
Kubrick would be mad, but that hasn't. Kubrick's passing, like the passing of many a director, has opened up the possibilities of doing things to exploit material in ways the directors would have disapproved. However, he still has guardians. You know what I mean? Leon Vitali is still there with a hatchet, ready to scalp anybody who dares sully the reputation. So there's still people who sit there. Jan,
Jan Harlan,
his brother-in-law. They're all still there guarding the tomb, as it were. And so I don't know. We'll see. Had a great question from Walter Gass. Wanted to know about Blu-ray releases for some Harrison Ford titles, specifically Witness, Frantic, and Regarding Henry. Yeah.
Now, Witness, that one should definitely be out. That's a bit of an oversight.
Here's the thing. As I explained to him, Regarding Henry and Witness are Paramount titles,
which means that they're going to they'll slough that off to
Warner Brothers.
To Warner Brothers.
So basically, we have to wait for Warner Brothers to decide that they're going to do it, and who knows? And then there's also the possibility that Olive could, take over some of those as well. So it's interesting. We're going to have to just wait. Frantic is interesting because Frantic is a Warner film. And I'm hoping that will, that the new management at Warner will not unduly sabotage the release of Frantic, because Frantic's a really interesting movie. It's a very Hitchcockian film. It's one of the more interesting Polanski films from the last, 25 years or whatever. But the other thing about Frantic, do you know about the change of the ending with Frantic? I saw Frantic in the original cut, which is great. Now, spoilers here for people who've never seen Frantic, and hopefully you have. It's one of those. It's got a MacGuffin, right? There's the microfilm or whatever, that the reason they kidnap his wife and the whole thing, and that's what sets everything in motion. In the original ending, he's got it in his hand, and they're driving past a garbage truck, and there he is in Paris, and he just tosses it out the window and into the garbage bin. Now that's, to me, a really interesting ending. Apparently, the idiots who tested the film, other than me, thought that was a lame ending. So they reshot this ending where he has this big standoff with a couple of goons on a bridge. And it's a horrendous ending. The new ending is just lame. So I'm hoping that the original ending can be restored in some kind of a branching edition, and that Frantic sort of gets its due again. But honestly, apart from Polanski and Harrison Ford, it's considered a minor Polanski film and a minor Harrison Ford film. So I don't know that that's ever really going to be on Warner's, A list of things to do. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm hoping they'll get around to it. And then Axel Peronio, who recently sent us some lovely little gifts. Axel, we want to thank you for that.
Well, okay, hang on a second.
Yes.
Because you said that.
I know.
I now have to make sure Axel knows that Wade Major...
I keep forgetting to bring the special gift for Mark.
Who was the keeper of the special gift for Mark, forgot to give the special gift.
I only got it. I only picked it up at KPCC the other day. So I haven't had it that long. I promise I will not keep it from you. I won't open it because it's addressed to you. So it's
I don't know what it is.
I know.
Thanks, Wade.
I'll bring it next time.
Now Axel has to wait forever to find out Here's what you should do.
Yeah.
Whenever you get around to it, God forbid you get around to bringing me this present from Axel, spend a lot of time, money to send it over.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
We'll open it up on the show.
We'll do that for sure. Anyway, Axel wrote us, and he sent us a great picture. He said that he finally saw Patton the other day for the first time, and he found out that Patton is actually buried in the Luxembourg American War Cemetery that's close to where he lives and close to where he works. And so he went and got a picture of it. And that's pretty great. It makes me want to actually go and visit it. And he said he's next going to go to visit the World War II Memorial in Bastogne, Belgium. So kind of cool that a movie would, inspire him to do a little bit of research, and then you discover, hey, look what's near look what I can go visit something that has real historical value, is tied into the movie itself.
All right, wait, no one cares about that. Here's what people really care about.
Yes.
And when I say people, I mean Wade Major.
Yes.
September 15th, Wade.
What?
Mark it down.
September 15th. What?
20th Century Fox Home Entertainment.
Oh, dear.
The entire series.
Oh, no.
Lost in Space.
Yeah. Yeah. I just added that to the calendar and fired off a request for it.
I bet you did.
I can't think of anything that I would like to see more than the Carrot People in high def.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Twilight Time. They just announced their July and August slates. Let's see who we have. From the good people at Twilight Time. We've got The Fabulous Baker Boys, which is a terrific film.
So good.
Just terrific.
I just red dress, piano, shoot me. It's
Michelle Pfeiffer was so hot back then.
The best.
And by the way, for her age, she's kind of hot now.
Totally.
Places in the Heart.
Great movie.
Also great. Woody Allen, once again, Twilight Time, going to the Woody Allen well. Midsummer's Night, sex comedy.
One of the minor ones, but still fun.
Now, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? You know, I have my issues with Stanley Kramer now as I've grown up, become more mature, my movie-going tastes. Stanley Kramer was like an issue director, and sometimes, man, that guy just hits it on the head too hard for me. And I think, you know, that scene at the end of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner when Spencer Tracy, like, they're all wondering, is Spencer Tracy going to allow this to happen or not? He has this big speech. It's like, oh, look at you, you magnanimous middle-aged white jerk. You know what I mean? It's very much a product of its time now.
You know what I love about Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? I love the fact that Katharine Hepburn's niece is in the movie and she's terrible. She's just horrible. There's no other reason for her to be in that movie. And every time she opens her mouth, you just think, wow, Sidney Poitier, why are you marrying her? You could do so much better. She's so
cute.
lame. No, she's not. She's stupid. She's stupid.
Wow,
she's stupid, and she's horrible. There's nothing appealing about her. That's the one thing in that film. The big question is supposed to be, will he accept the black son-in-law? How can he? But my question was always, why is he wanting to marry her? She's horrible.
She's a horrible actress, but she's pretty and sweet and nice.
No, she's terrible.
A couple more things. Ken Burns, Civil War, coming to Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn right. Landmark. That's one where, I mean, you're really kind of justified in buying that if you wanted to. I mean, Civil War, I do not have his baseball documentary on Blu-ray, although I really should have it at this point.
You should.
But Civil War, that's a great one.
What else?
What else? Let's see. What else? Orson Welles' Chimes of Midnight.
Oh, that's good.
On Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Finally.
Nice.
British distributor.
Yeah.
So God forbid it should come out with an American distributor.
Yeah.
But it is being all figured out by the small British distributor, Mr. Bongo.
Nice.
Can't beat that.
Well, speaking of Twilight Time, Mark, we have a bunch of Twilight Time titles.
What?
Yep, we got a bunch of Twilight Time titles, and then we'll do the Vox Box after Twilight Time. No, not yet. Twilight Time has this week's releases out, and they have changed their packaging. Twilight Time is now using the clear Blu-ray packaging that is favored by a number of other companies like Draft House and Cohen. There are a number of companies that use it, and it has a certain cinephile quality to it. It's becoming associated with class and distinction. So the clear, as opposed to the blue packaging, is now a thing. And these new releases in their limited edition series, which are all 3,000 copies apiece, available only at screenarchives.com. We begin with a movie I never thought I'd see released on Blu-ray, which is April Love. April Love is a 1957 really kind of strange musical melodrama starring Shirley Jones and Pat Boone, and it's wrong side of the tracks, kids. With Pat Boone as a delinquent of all things, it's so strange. But you know what? It's actually a kind of there's a weird little nostalgia to this film that is sort of endearing. So you get the usual isolated score track that all the Twilight Time titles have. You get a Shirley Jones and film historian Nick Redman commentary, which is fun. Shirley Jones is always good for a laugh or two. And the trailer. And then I think far and away the greatest release that has ever come from Twilight Time is this one. Mark, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Remains the Day.
Yeah, now why does Twilight Time have to release that? That's just pathetic.
It is unbelievable. Remains of the Day was a huge multiple Oscar winner. Of course, didn't win because it was the same year as Schindler's List. Nothing else was going to win that year. But I would argue, my wife would argue that Howard's End is the best film that Merchant Ivory ever made. I would argue Remains of the Day is the best film. Regardless, they are both nearly perfect movies. And the book reading scene, the book scene in Remains of the Day remains one of the most magical pieces of cinema ever. Anthony Hopkins and Emma Thompson just could not be more perfect in this film. It is wonderful in every conceivable way. Screenplay by Ruth Pradjabvala based on the Kazuo Ishiguro novel.
Did she not die recently?
Yes, she did.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just fantastic. Also produced, by the way, not just by Ismail Merchant, but get this as a trio of producers. Mike Nichols, John Calley, Ismail Merchant.
I bet Nichols at some point was maybe
he was planning on directing
attached to it.
Yeah, he was. But what a great trio of people
Sure.
that just for the marquee. It's like, wow.
Sure.
Great film. Here's the best thing about this. Yes, you get the isolated score track. You also get all the extras that were on the extra loaded original Columbia TriStar home video DVD release. And that is fantastic because the commentary here with James Ivory, Ismail Merchant, and Emma Thompson is to die for. It is wonderful. It's one of my all-time favorite commentaries, and it is preserved on the Blu-ray, so you don't. They didn't jip it when they licensed it to Twilight Time. And you get the making of Remains of the Day, and all these other little featurette tidbits that they've tacked in here, as well as some deleted scenes with optional commentary. It is a fantastic release. It's the best thing Twilight Time's ever done. The best. We also have Zardoz, the John Boorman film that is both loved and reviled. John Boorman films tend to fall into the camp of either masterpiece or just embarrassing failure beyond all comprehension. For every Exorcist II, The Heretic, you also have a Deliverance, right? Zardoz, nobody can quite make up their mind. Some people love it. Other people just think it's stupid. Either way, it's an aging Sean Connery in a loincloth in the most bizarre science fiction tale you have ever seen. And ultimately, when it gets to the big payoff at the end, you're either going to go, that is really cool, or you will go, you have got to be... Seriously? I sat around for 2 hours waiting for that? The story of Adele Osh recently also came out from Fox on DVD as a DVD-R of all things. And if that offends you, as it does me, because this is the story of Victor Hugo's daughter, starring Isabelle Adjani, an absolutely brilliant, brilliant, brilliant film directed by Francois Truffaut, one of his greater later films. This is out now on Blu-ray from Twilight Time, and thank goodness. It is magnificent. It is gorgeous. It is a great transfer. Could have been better, but I will take it. I will take whatever I've got because the DVD-R is just not sufficient. The Fantasticks, maybe Mike Ritchie's, I don't know, next to Downhill Racer. Would you say that this is maybe his next to Fletch?
Bad News Bears.
Yeah, true. But Fantasticks is fun, right?
Bad News Bears.
Bad News Bears.
It's the greatest movie ever made.
It's fun, right? The Fantasticks? It's good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Bad News Bears.
Yeah, Bad News Bears, sure. But anyway,
or Fletch.
We get a Blu-ray of the Fantasticks, which I'm okay with. This was kind of a big Broadway deal, and it was a little bit of a peculiar thing when it finally became a movie. It dates not terribly well, but I think it's perfectly fine and nostalgic and enjoyable. And I'm willing to hang on to it and watch it, and show my daughter one day. And then, lastly, the man who will play Cogsworth, Mark, Ian McKellen as Richard III.
Yeah,
that's right, Richard III, out from Twilight Time. I had some reservations about this. I know this was a big deal on stage. It's a great adaptation until it's all kind of a World War II era thing, and you're wondering what's he going to do when he comes to the My Kingdom for a Horse speech, because there aren't any horses. They're driving jeeps and tanks and whatnot.
My Kingdom for a Ford Mustang.
And his jeep gets stuck in the mud, and he says, my kingdom for a horse, and everyone started laughing. I saw this at a pretty packed screen. Everyone started laughing, and I thought, I'll bet that works better on stage. Nonetheless, it's good. It is good. Apart from that moment that doesn't work at all, it's good. Kristen Scott Thomas, Maggie Smith, Annette Bening, Jim Broadbent, Robert Downey Jr. It's a great cast. It's really nicely put together. And Richard Loncraine, who hasn't done an awful lot since, quite probably the right director for the material, I would say. So there you go. That's the Twilight Time Blu-ray releases for this month.
Whee!
All right, Mark, you know what it's time for.
Can I do it?
Do it.
Fox.
Hi, Mark and Wade. It's Chevelle Dixon, and so my question is about Disney. Now, at the time of recording this Thursday, I just found out the news that they're going to do a live-action version of Winnie the Pooh, which got me wondering, why are they so obsessed with doing all these live-action versions of their films? You got The Jungle Book coming out next year. And you have the news about Dumbo being done by Tim Burton, which makes me sad for Tim Burton. And, Beauty and the Beast just has Cinderella. And I'm wondering, what other films are they going to do? And what films would you like them to do live-action versions of? Personally, it would be interesting to see them do a Robin Hood, of course done by Ridley Scott, since his Robin Hood was so good, and you guys loved it so much. It's interesting to see what he does with it, if he can do a better job. Thank you, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Chevelle, and that plugs in perfectly today because we've talked about Tim Burton and his problems, and we've talked a little bit earlier about all of we just talked about Ian McKellen as Cogsworth and all the Disney things and that whole everything that is their whole live action obsession. So I think it is a timely question and it is a valid question. I will go first on this. I'm not happy with the idea that they're taking all their classic animated titles and remaking them as live action. I think it's cowardly and uncreative, and you could better spend that energy doing other things. That said, if they wind up doing a good job and not sort of sullying the original material, I can accept it. I wish they wouldn't, but if they wind up sort of redeeming themselves, I walk in a skeptic. But if they redeem themselves like they have with Cinderella, where it's like, well, that's lovely, then I will be reluctantly okay with it. And I will say this, Beauty and the Beast is sounding like a winner. It's sounding like they've got all the right people on board. We talked about Bill Condon. It sounds like a winner. Winnie the Pooh, you know what? I loved Paddington, but I don't know that a live-action Winnie the Pooh is something that I'm ever going to be able to wrap myself around. Maybe the CGI Peanuts will convince me otherwise. I would be shocked. Winnie the Pooh just should no. That's he doesn't wear pants. I can't. No, that's no. I don't know. Here's what I think they're going to do. I think Dumbo's going to tank. I think that's going to be a fiasco. I guarantee you that they're sitting around waiting to see how all the underwater stuff works out in Aquaman, and if that turns out okay, they're going to announce a Little Mermaid live action film.
Oh, God help us all.
And who knows how that'll work? I mean, they're great songs, just like Beauty and the Beast. They are great songs. But we should have seen all the writing on the wall with all of this stuff when Disney started turning everything into a Broadway franchise. The next inevitable step was, let's do a live-action movie. Well,
look, to me, I think what activated this might have been Alice in Wonderland. I mean, Alice in Wonderland.
True, for sure.
I mean, now that's not a direct Disney animated film, but it's a beloved.
It's also. I mean, that movie is not. We should point out that the Burton Alice in Wonderland is not even a straight Alice in Wonderland. It's kind of a sequel to Alice in Wonderland, and but
it's beloved more in animated form, if not Disney animated form.
It showed that an animated property could, in this day and age, with the embellishment of special effects, could live in a live action world and still be successful.
I mean, that thing made $1 billion.
I know.
So now you got Pinocchio, Mulan, Beauty and the Beast, Dumbo, Winnie the Pooh, all these other films. And, of course, Maleficent also. Yeah. That also did a lot towards activating Disney's interest.
I think Maleficent is the film that really made them go back and start looking at everything.
And so I'm a little bit with Wade where I don't like the mercenary feel of it. But, I was heartened that they asked Kenneth Branagh to do Cinderella.
For sure.
Because, okay, that's a good match of director sensibilities and material. It's not it's not like let's get Tim Burton. Okay, when they say let's get Tim Burton, I'm worried.
Right.
When they say let's get Kenneth Branagh, I'm like, okay, they might be trying.
Yeah.
So I'm with Wade. I don't like the fact that it feels so mercenary. However, if they do treat the material right, which by the way is not a given with Disney, if they do treat the material right, anything can happen.
True. I agree. So thank you, Chevelle. That was a really good question. And are there any that I would like them to make? That was the one I kept thinking is, are there any Disney live action
they should make Lady and the Tramp with Melissa McCarthy and Paul Rudd.
Yeah, that's what they should do. No, I got to thinking, I was like, you know what? Are there any animated Disney properties that I would enjoy seeing done live action?
There's going to be a Frozen live action movie.
Sure, but I think you'd be surprised at the one that I'm going to pick. because I like remakes where you take something that didn't work right the first time and you fix it the second time around. Those are the films that I like seeing remade. You know, like old exploitation. Ocean's 11 being an example, right? Ocean's 11 is a crap movie. Apart from Sinatra and all the guys and the whole Rat Pack, that's a crap movie. But they took it and they're like, okay, there's a germ of a great idea here. Let's turn it around and fix it. And they fixed it and they made it better. So I say, look at the Disney animated stuff that really should not have been made, should not have been animated, and see if there's something there you can work with. I think The Black Cauldron would be an interesting film to do live action. I think it would work better live action than as an animated film. It's not a good animated film.
I just think you like that film. As a fanboy, you love that film too much.
Yeah, maybe.
You know. Here's what you could do. You could do Peter Pan. You could do Pocahontas. Right?
Sure.
Do Peter Pan, you do Pocahontas, Mulan they're already doing. Sleeping Beauty, obviously. I'm trying to think what other ones. There's ones like Aladdin. Maybe you can do Aladdin. Maybe a little bit more earthbound Aladdin.
Sure.
I think that might be kind of it off the top of my head.
Well, anyway, we're getting close to the end of the show, so let me wrap out with just a few final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Sorry, wait.
Yeah, no. One TV release that we want to make mention of is Mondovino, the series, which is it's a force. This is like a huge 10-hour 4-disc series on wine. Which I'm not a wine drinker, but I find the whole culture of wine and grapes and winelands to be really fascinating. Especially things like how, there was the fact that so many grapes in France were destroyed by disease, and they had to replant them with Northern California grapes. So there are all kinds of really interesting histories to that. Anyway, Mondovino the series is this amazing comprehensive series about winemaking. And it took 4 or 5 years to do this, and going all over the world. And it's really extraordinary. You're just going with some of these amazing wine experts, and you're going to every single part of the planet where wine is part of the culture. And
that's based on a documentary.
Delving into the history of it, it's really extraordinary.
In 2004, there was a documentary called Mondovino about the making of wine.
That's what this is.
Oh, is it the movie or the TV series?
Well, it's a series.
Oh, but this was an actual documentary in 2004. Okay. I have it.
All right.
I have it on DVD. Because as you can see from some books on my shelf, I'm a wine guy.
This is from 2004. So
oh, really?
It's a series.
Interesting.
It's like 10 hours long.
Well, the movie ain't 10 hours long.
Well, then maybe the movie that you're thinking of was cut down.
Ooh, interesting. I thought you meant it was a new, because I've not seen Mondovino,
no,
TV series.
This is from 2004.
Interesting.
It's great. It's really great.
Don't stop the recording.
I'm going to. And then we've also got a great box set here, the Simon Wiesenthal collection, which includes a couple of Academy Award-winning documentaries, Genocide and Long Way Home. These are 11 documentaries in total, basically on Jewish life and the Holocaust. And obviously, you have the two Oscar winners are more famous, but you have other stuff in here like Liberation, Echoes That Remain, Winston Churchill, Walking with Destiny. It's really quite an extraordinary collection of films. It's really good. And this comes from Cinedigm Docurama, and it's just a nice big old box that for any history buff who wants a comprehensive chronicle of that period and that subject, you can't do poorly to put this up there right next to Shoah and whatever else you have on your shelf.
Absolutely.
And then lastly, we've got a half dozen new titles from the Fox Cinema Archives collection. These are all DVD-Rs. I'll go through these real quickly. One is the Stuart Rosenberg-directed movie Move with Elliot Gould and Paula Prentice. Boy, this is a movie from that weird gap between the late 60s and the early 70s, and it kind of feels like it belongs to both periods. And Elliot Gould, of course, plays a struggling writer who writes pornography and walks dogs.
Hey, gotta
for
make a
rich
living.
People.
Gotta make a living.
It's just one of those Elliot Gould roles that you kind of, that guy played so many thankless parts, didn't he? Elliot, when you look at the
love him. Come
I
on.
do too, but when you look at the roles that he played and the things that he was expected to do in those roles, you just think, my gosh, everyone just dumped on this guy. It's just like, we got a crazy loser who does eccentric things. Gould!
He starred in 2 of my favorite Robert Altman films.
MASH.
Long Goodbye.
Long Goodbye, sure.
Love him.
And then
I remember. Wait,
Okay, go on.
During LAFCA time, I don't know if you were at the screening. This might have been the screening of The Social Network. I can't remember. But it was a screening at the Directors Guild of some big movie during LAFCA Awards voting time.
Yeah.
And everybody's dressed, I mean, not in suits, but everyone's dressed for a meeting, for a screening at a reception at the Directors Guild.
Okay.
Right? So we see the movie, whatever it was, can't remember, and we leave to get the free food, which, of course, is my favorite part of any screening during LAFCA time. And who shows up in a tracksuit? Elliot Gould.
That's
in a
great.
tracksuit.
That's pretty great.
A unicolored tracksuit. There's Elliot Gould. Because when you're that old and you're that cool, you can do whatever you want because you're cool and you're old.
Well, we've also got I Ought to Be in Pictures, the Neil Simon piece that was directed by Herbert Ross in 1982 with Walter Matthau and Anne Margaret, which is it kind of, it's a little dated, but it's still perfectly fine. I mean, anything Neil Simon is better than nothing Neil Simon. And then you have Key Exchange, which stars Brooke Adams, Ben Masters, and Daniel Stern, along with Tony Roberts and Danny Aiello. This is based on this is a kind of not such a great movie, based on a Kevin Wade play directed by Barnett Kellman. This was originally an off-Broadway play. It kind of feels a little dated as well, but it's out on DVD-R if you want it. Justine. Better than average film. This has great music by Jerry Goldsmith, by the way, as usual, but kind of an unusual later George Cukor film that kind of still, he's still got the spark, but not quite getting what he should out of the actors, which includes Dirk Bogarde and Anouk Aimee. But still, there's some good stuff in here. And then the last two, Together Brothers, which is a completely forgotten film that is so timely again, with all of the, all these race issues and these police shootings, and you kind of feel like, wow, have we kind of gone back in time again? And it's as disturbing as all that is, a movie like Together Brothers is probably worth revisiting. This is a movie that is 40 years old and suddenly feels incredibly timely. So you might want to definitely check that out. It is from the blaxploitation era, but should not be considered a blaxploitation film. It's much too serious of a drama. And then lastly, Mickey Spillane's novel "I, the Jury" became an okay film in the hands of director Richard T. Heffron, with a better-than-average performance by Armand Assante and nice supporting turns by Barbara Carrera and Alan King. Really, otherwise, sort of a not really terribly distinguished film. But if for Armand Assante, I think it's worth checking out, and also for the fact that Larry Cohen, exploitation meister Larry Cohen, adapted the Spillane novel, and I still love Larry Cohen, even when he's not up to snuff. You still feel that he's excited and doing interesting work. So,
and the Larry Cohen who directed Black Caesar.
Of course.
Come on, Fred Williamson.
And Q, the winged monster, Quetzalcoatl.
And It's Alive, one of the last scary films I ever saw.
We love Larry Cohen.
I realized I didn't like them.
All right, we'll see you next week.
So long.